All right. Hey, everyone. We are here. Happy Monday. Welcome to another second cup of coffee with Jason Bailey. Peely's got her coffee. We got some kiddos sleeping, which is a magical moment, as everybody can imagine. So doing great. Hope you are all doing great. We had a super weekend. It actually got through a whole weekend without raining here, which was superb since I just spent 30 days running in the rain. So, of course, got a couple days where it didn't rain, which was magical, but we'll take it. We'll take it. The kids got outside. Things happened. We were making a lot of our days, and we are back at it today. So hope you had a great weekend. And today we got two great guests. Before we want to do that, we want to jump on to the 6 steps to create your day. Now, I'll let Peely run with this because she's put together the acronym, which is pretty awesome.
So from there. I love acronyms. I love anything to do with words, really. And, disclaimer, this actually comes from one of my favorite books, The Miracle Morning, changed my life, but I decided to take it and make it my own. So I totally believe in the idea of no new ideas. So take those ideas that are already out in the world. And the thing is, the creator of The Miracle Morning, Hal Elrod, will tell you himself, he took all of these ideas from things that people were already doing, and he just meshed them together. And that book changed my life. And we're actually going to take another look at a book that is about to change a lot of people's lives as well. But we'll get back to that when we have Jillian and Jeff come on. So this is C.R.E.A.T.E, C-R-E-A-T-E. So C is clarity. Find your clarity by starting a journal, even on the days that we're the busiest. And I know I'm going to wake up and sometimes I get up with the kids. I don't even take the time in the morning, but Jason usually knows that. And when he's done with his miracle morning, he says, Peely, go upstairs, and I take at least between 6 minutes to an hour to get my miracle morning done. So the first thing I do is clarity. I take a moment and I write in my journal, and I write down the 3 things that I am most grateful for. So I start there. Second.
Well, before we get to that, Andy Frisella's got a great thing about just putting together your 3 to 5 of your just action items that have to get done, that are going to be your biggest points to actually take action and move forward. And there's, of course, a lot of data back by this that, people who write down their goals are most succeed. Now, everybody has goals. Everybody out there is putting some goal forward in your lives, but the people who track them, put them down and look at them every day and have them right in their face every day, that's where we see the traction made. That's where we see the effort, the growth, and the people that commit and actually fulfill what you're doing.
So 2, R, reading. Read between 5 and 30 minutes a day. It'll help your brain. It'll educate your brain on a regular basis. So right now I am reading. Why am I blanking out? I'm actually like looking over the one thing again, because I live my life by this book, and I know that I haven't read this for a while. So I'm looking at this book over again. Exercise.
So consistent movement, consistent action, anything of action beats inaction, right? And right now, we're just hearing from so many people that are sitting there dormant, just waiting for things to pick up, to kind of like pick up back their life, right? But what if we have a delay in that? What if we just can't stop? We can't sit dormant. We can't sit in the sidelines. You just have to get out there and take action. There's no reason you should be sitting home waiting for somebody else to tell you it's okay to get back to move. Right now, get out there, test yourself. If you can't get out of the house, do it in your apartment. Do it in a spare bedroom. Do it in your basement. Do it in the middle of the living room while kids are watching TV. You can do so much without having to go so far. I mean, right now, just even trying push-ups or anything, standing up, sitting down, anything of motion, get your energy going. And I get it. No one feels like doing it in the beginning, but when you're done, you feel so much better. And it's just, once you get that ball rolling, you get the effect of literally having the snowball effect, the leverage, the momentum, just from starting to do it. That's where you only build mental fortitude, you start to build traction, and you'll translate that from your energy there to everything else you're doing in your day.
And so just get started. When it comes to exercise, just get started. That's what I'm trying to tell everyone. Yes, we gave ourselves the grace, the time to just kind of like let this all sit in. But now it's time to get up and get moving. Do it, and do it now. A, affirmations. These are I am statements. If you need help with these, you can follow me on Facebook. I do an I am statement every single day. You are reprogramming your brain to focus on a better version of you. So, like for instance, if you're down, tell yourself, I am going to take pick something that you know will make you happy. So, you know what? I am going to walk outside and breathe some fresh air and be grateful for this beautiful day. It could be raining outside, but still you can be grateful for the day because this is a day that you get to have.
Well, it's also transforming your thought process from the I can't, I won't be able to really setting your mind up to know that you can, you will, and you need to. And when you start translating your mind to put those words into action, so every time you come up with something, it's not that I can't, it's now thinking, well, how can I? If something's hard and I can't do it, what is it going to be that I can do it? I can make the action happen. So for us moving on, next one's going to be thought. And here we go. Live shows, got kiddos walking in, teaching us about ABCs. And sometimes they're teaching me a lot of things. The little guy over there is learning Hawaiian, wants me to read Hawaiian books. I get criticized on every word. It's literally horrible, but I'm trying.
But it's the way he learns. So T for thought, quiet time to just be, prayer, silence, self-meditation, guided meditation. These are just great examples of getting into your head and out of your head at the same time. So one great app for guided meditation is Headspace or Calm. I've used them both. They're fantastic. Headspace is more like cartoonish, but you can get really into it. And then Calm is a lot more like nature sounds and nature visuals. So I would suggest downloading both onto your phone, trying out like some of their free, I know both of them have free time limits on them. So try it out, see if either of them work for you. Or you know what? Pray, take a moment to be grateful, to let your mind calm and just be.
It doesn't always have to be meditation, right? You can just start in a moment of just having the space to just be silent in your day. It's like, I equate it with so many times that we have such a chaotic day because we get up and it's like there's a moving train and we're trying to jump on the moving train because that's what our days feel like, right? They're just a train that's out of control and we're trying to navigate the waters where we never have that moment before where the train actually just stops. Basically at the station, we can get our minds together. Okay, say we're going in this direction, give ourselves the clarity of what's going to happen throughout our day, and then get going with our motion. Just take a moment. It doesn't have to be long. I mean, 6 deep breaths in can completely translate into a better day.
So E, energy. Create positive energy in your mind and body by incorporating all the above into a positive visualization. If you can see it, you can achieve it. Get excited about your day. Get pumped about the life you will create. Create a vision board if you haven't. Create and surround yourself with the life that you want to lead. Jason and I talk about this a lot, making the choice. So I want you today to make that choice to create your life. You have the power to. You just have to choose it.
I love it. So I have nothing to add to that. It's super good. Just have the energy, start moving forward. Any action beats inaction. Think of that statement every time out there is that taking steps forward, and that doesn't mean to be reckless, but just start moving forward. You'll learn more in motion than sitting there waiting on the sidelines.
Yes.
So we got 2 awesome guests today. Super excited.
Yes. So we have Jillian Sidoti and Jeff Holst. Well, I'm super excited to have them on. They're going to talk about their newest project and their platform. I can't wait to talk with them.
Awesome. All right. So, hey guys, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
Oh, super excited. So I've actually met Jillian before. We've never met Jeff in person. Hey Jeff, how you doing?
Actually, that's not true, Jason. We met once briefly.
Where was this?
It was at an event in Denver.
Oh, you're right. It was at
was it Joe's event?
No, Adams.
No. This was Adam's event, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's okay that you don't remember me. I'm insignificant.
Man. We're psyched to have you here today. So
we're going to stop that, Jeff. No more talk. No more bad talk from you.
That's it.
I know.
Right for you to look over for the entire day. Great.
That's right. I wrote it down actually, so I like that. I don't even know how we follow that. That's like you guys are doing awesome. It's amazing.
We just have now put it into steps, and it's not easy. We don't get it every day, right? Some days the kids are up, you feel like they're going to bed at midnight and up, 11:30 before you, so like, I feel like we're going backwards in time some days, and it's just the chaos happening. And we're like, okay, well, we'll figure it out, but it's like giving us the structure that we can fall back to, and just as much as we can. And it's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's never easy, right? And it's never easy in terms of the day. And we're just trying to continually learn with the process and grow. And even with this, you know, how Rod has a great thing. We kind of translate a little bit more to what works for us, and it's a constant learning process. But enough about us, because we're here, but we want to talk about you guys. So we'd love to hear more. Jillian, we'll start with you. Just give us a quick recap, who you are, what you do, and we'll go from there.
My name is Jillian Sidoti, and the way I know you guys is because I do help real estate entrepreneurs figure out how they're going to raise capital for the real estate deals from the equity side, not the debt side. So we complement the bank financing. And, you know, as much as I like doing that and making money, I found that there was just really, I had a higher calling to do other things. And kind of that's how Last Life Ever, which is what we're here talking about today, happened, was because I felt like I had a higher calling to kind of bring forth all these other ideas I had about living the most purposeful, meaningful, wonderful life that you possibly can. And that's part of what we're here talking about today.
That is amazing. This is why I love Jillian. She's like my mom crush spirit animal. Like if I was just starting out and I didn't find me first to learn all about multifamily, I go to Jillian.
Oh, yeah.
I love.
I have a question for you. How do you have kids sleeping this late?
Oh, they're not nap time.
Yeah, we got the 1.5-year-old or 21-month-olds have a nap time, which generally still happens most days, and the other two, some days nap, they're 3 and 5, and some days, you know, that maybe once in a while, you know, but we're trying to keep them from napping too late, because they've been doing, I think at home, it's like they're just in constant go mode. So they're like trying to fall asleep for nap at like 5 p.m. And we're like, no. So please don't do that, you know, like how that goes. So, but the little one goes down repeatedly for about another month.
Although, like, I try and put him down at like 11, and sometimes he doesn't want to go down like inches to 12 where I'm supposed to be here. I'm like, you might have to come on the podcast or the live show with me. And it's happened before.
Yeah.
So yeah.
He actually joined on. We got to be on Gary V's show the other day, and he ended up being on the show. So like,
oh my gosh,
real life. It is, you know, it is what it is. So
I know all about that. So
yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the book that's coming
Well,
out.
I want to hear Jeff. Jeff, please.
Yes.
Hey, I told you I was insignificant. I've materialized it. Like, you've already forgot I was here. No, I appreciate that. So thanks for having me on, by the way. I love what you guys are doing. I've actually caught quite a few of your shows. Anyway, so listen, I'm a real estate investor also, which is kind of how I met you guys and how I met Jillian as well. In fact, Jillian was on my other show, because we have a Last Life Ever Facebook group, but we also have a podcast for Last Life Ever, where we just talk to people doing extraordinary things, and just to inspire us all to do better and things. But I have this other show, a real estate show, that Jillian was on, and we interviewed her on that. And actually after the show, I was telling her about my thoughts for Last Life Ever and how I wanted to start this podcast and stuff. And I didn't even really know her then. And then about, I don't know, a day or two later, she starts messaging me on Facebook. Hey, we got to talk. And she kind of elbowed her way into my show, but that's all right. It's totally cool, because Jillian's amazing, and she makes me much better as a person, and also makes the show way better than it would have been if it was just me. So,
give us the premise about Last Life, or why the thought was conjuring in your mind, and where did it come from?
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, I think it speaks towards the fact that I was, you know, reasonably successful. I'd quit my job and became a full-time real estate investor. And I was a little bit bored, so I got into doing some syndications and raising money for deals and stuff. And I did that because I wanted to help some of these people, right? Like, I had friends who were like, oh, I wish I could invest in real estate. And I was like, well, I guess we can make that happen, right? And I really enjoyed helping them invest in real estate almost more than the real estate itself. And so I started thinking about, what about people that don't want to invest in real estate? Like, what are they doing? And I know so many people that have jobs. And I read this book, I forget the name of it. Life in the, I don't know, Fast Lane something. I don't know. It's MJ DeMarco.
I've read it, yeah.
Yeah, and he was talking about how bad of a deal it was to trade like 5 days of your life or 2 days off. And I started thinking about that, and I was like, so many people are unhappy, and I'm a happy person by nature. I love my life, and I'm like, more people need to be happy. So that's really what I was thinking when I started thinking about it. I'm like, man, we only live once. And that YOLO thing was a little overplayed, so I couldn't steal that. So I had to pick a different one, and I just kind of brainstormed it.
So as you guys have come up with this concept, what's been the reaction? Because we've all gotten trained from an early age that this is just the process, right? Because we see so many people around us they've just taken this step, right? So, okay, now I guess I'm going to go through school. School is going to set me up to go to maybe higher education. Higher education is going to set me up for this form of working for someone 5 days on, 2 days off. And then at a certain age, I'm going to hit retirement, move forward. And, that 40 years down the road, then I'll be able to start doing what I want.
Yeah, so I want to be clear about this, right? Like, I actually don't object to people having a 5-day-a-week job. If they're doing something they love, it's totally fine. The whole point of Last Life Ever is that you should be doing things that are fulfilling yourself, right? Which is what you guys are talking about all the time, which is why I love your show. But it's really about just like this whole life balance thing. If your dream is to be like a Waffle House server and that's what you're doing, then I'm perfectly fine with that. I just don't believe most people that are doing that are dreaming that, right? And I think some people, they're so conditioned, like you're saying, that they're not even dreaming anymore. So that's the first step, is to get people thinking, you know what, we actually can do this cool stuff. So I try to be really open about what I do in my life, because my life is pretty extraordinary. Like, I've been very lucky. I've had a lot of challenging things happen, but every step of the way I've come out on top, and I've had even better things happen to me. Like, I just climbed Mount Kilimanjaro like 2 months ago, which is freaking amazing. But I don't know that I could have done it without Last Life sort of pushing me forward, because I was like climbing this mountain and I'm like, oh man, it's so hard, right? It's so hard. It's physically trying. It's 19,300 feet. And I wanted to give up for like 3 days straight. It took 8 days to climb the mountain. And I just kept thinking, I can't give up, because like Jillian will be mad at me. Not really, but that is part of it. It's just like, I've told all these people I'm going to do this stuff, and like people are relying on me. And that kind of motivation it's really helpful to me. And I think other people, that's what the Facebook group is about, right? So we have two components. We have the show, and then we have the group. The group is really just about a place for everyone to encourage each other, and communicate and kind of share their goals and hopes and dreams. And then also the practical part, which is, if you have a dream, like understanding that it's something that's attainable. Because a lot of people will say, oh, I would love to live on an island, or I'd love to donate more to charity, or whatever it is, right? And then that's the end of it. They're just dreaming. Like, you have to create a process, which is a lot about what you were talking about when we started the show today. Like, if you don't like actually start taking action, then you never get there. So
you said one of the most important things is that I'm doing this because I've said I was going to do it, and other people are seeing me do it and depending on me doing it. And that's so important. And even right now, because people are sitting in the sidelines or getting negative on Facebook, or just putting out this like the wrong energy, but they don't realize that there's other people around them that are looking to how they're responding really for the right energy, hopefully. Right. And then now they're putting out that, and it snowballs. It has that effect. And Last Life Ever has got a great message. You guys are just putting together that just find a life. When we were working together literally at bars 10, 15 years ago, we loved it, and it was a transition to have little kids and late nights. It wasn't going to be, of course, a parallel life, but we loved it. We enjoyed it, so there is that enjoyment in many different aspects of your lives that you find it. And if you can be happy, making $30,000 a year, doing your love, super. That's great.
Well, so sometimes I think I'd be better off if I was still working at a 7-Eleven third shift. It was like a really great deal. I just hung out, I got to meet lots of interesting people in the middle of the night. But, $200 a week, it'd be pretty hard to survive on these days.
Yeah, I hear you. So good.
There's something to say about that happiness. Right? So
yeah, for sure. Listen, you know this about me, but I'm sure a lot of the other people who don't know me might not know this, but I gave up bad days when I was 17. Like, I just made this decision. I said, I'm not having a bad day today. And I just kept saying it over and over again. And actually, it was one day at 7-Eleven, somebody came in and he said to me, how's your day going today? And I'd been saying this for weeks to myself privately, that I never have bad days. I just said, I never have bad days. I never have bad days. That was my affirmation all the time. And I said to him, I never have bad days. It just sort of came out of me. And then I realized, you know what? I really don't have bad days, and I haven't had a bad day since. So it's been really amazing, like 25 years now. So
I have a friend at CrossFit. He's got a shirt that says "No bad days," and he now just prints on everything else. But it just, his mantra, he just constantly repeats it in that same forum. But it just sets the stage, right? It creates what your day is going to be, and then you say, okay, well, if I look at what I have right now, I am completely grateful to probably a trillion other people that would die for my worst day right now, die to have my worst day because they're having a much worse day. I love it. So talk to us
about the new book.
Yeah. So Jillian, talk to us about where the book comes in, what you guys are doing with it, and where we're moving from here.
So Jeff came to me and said, you know, there's a lot of people who are struggling right now, being in quarantine and being alone. And we know a lot of these people who are sitting in their homes.
I was one of these people at the time that I said that.
And you know, I had a different situation. Like, you know, Jeff has his wife and his dog and a very fulfilling life. So for him to say he was lonely is kind of funny to me. Whereas, you know, I had, you know, 3 kids at home, 2 of whom who got corona, and that was awful. And then we have, you know, a lot of our friends who are single and sitting at home. And so Jeff had said, you know, I want to kind of do something where we have this "we're not alone" type of mantra. And we started off doing a happy hour every night. We still do it every night at 6 o'clock, where people come on a Zoom and we just hang out. You don't have no drinking necessary, but we sit and chat. We chat about all kinds of stuff.
6 o'clock Pacific time, though, so it's actually 9 o'clock.
Got it.
With 6 Pacific time. Oh, I have a baby. So, and then you know, our basic premise was, okay, let's come up with a book of messages to people who are struggling. And we got 25 people to write essays, Peely being one of them, and just giving people messages of love, light, and hope in this time of struggle. And the great thing about the book isn't just the messages that are going to be given to people once the book comes out, but also the benefactors or the beneficiaries, not the benefactors. The beneficiaries of the book are 4 really worthy charities that assist people who are struggling the most during this time. You know, one of my big passion projects, or one of the things I volunteer for, is the local food pantry. And the food pantry is suffering tremendously right now because normally grocery stores give away their food that's about to expire to the food pantry to give out to the poor. And unfortunately, because, you know, supply is short at the grocery stores, the food pantries are suffering, which means the poor are suffering. And now there's even more people in line at the food pantry due to coronavirus and unemployment and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's interesting, you know, how this all came about. But now we have these 25 amazing stories, essays, words of hope that are going to be available on Amazon here soon.
Awesome. So messages of love, light, and hope, Coronavirus Collective. I love it.
Yeah.
Now, give us so one passage that's maybe comes to mind, a message of that passage.
Jeff, why don't you share your favorite?
Well, you know, it's your chapter, Jillian. That's clearly my favorite. I say that every time because I don't want to pick favorites. Like, obviously, my second favorite is Peely's chapter because I you know, she's here too. She's out of the room. Okay, in that case, no. So, look, there's so many. Every chapter when it came in, and I've read everyone as we were going through this process. Every single one had something great about it, and so it's really hard to pick one and say, "Hey, this is like the best." But the ones that stand out to me the most is there's Jillian has a friend who grew up as a nomad in Mongolia, right? And she writes from her adopted homeland of Southern California and about how much it's affecting her family and how she's framing this whole quarantine shutdown thing differently because she's in this new and different environment. And she hasn't even been in the United States all that long. few years, if I remember correctly.
Well, I don't. It hasn't even been a few years. It's been like, I think 18 months, maybe 2 years at the most.
Yeah, so a very, very short amount of time here. And so hearing her perspective, and she's just so positive and how she's analyzing it, it's really hard to explain without really reading it. But that one really stands out to me as really fantastic. And then there's so many. There's people like, there's a couple of people that wrote from Africa, one person in Mozambique, one person in Kenya. We have people, all over the United States that wrote these things, and everyone is so positive. And what I think is most amazing about it is they're all written in that first 3 weeks of shutdown, right? Wow. So it's when people are really they're just starting to adjust to it. And I think it's an interesting look at that period of time. And then when you read it, like I said a moment ago, that I felt like I was just kind of like, just sort of biding my time, and started reading these things and hearing what other people are doing to stay motivated, what other people were doing to accept where they were and sort of process what was going on. It pushed me forward to where I don't think the book would have been done if I hadn't started reading the stuff in the book. It's sort of self-completing at that. And it's gotten me much more excited about the future as well, because everyone was so optimistic. And I love that about the book.
So when's the book going to be available?
Hopefully yesterday.
Hopefully. We might be able to find it live online.
Yesterday, but there's some kind of delay because of the COVID situation with the processing. So it should be out, either today or tomorrow or sometime very soon.
Awesome. So Messages of Love, Light, and Hope, Coronavirus Collective. I'm excited to read this. You guys have the best energy, and that's what we want to hear out there, right? It's just, there's no reason we can literally relegate on what's wrong, or say, hey, there's no bad days, and every day just gets better from there. So we got No Bad Days right here with a sleeping baby live, as long as that goes.
Hey, I love it.
We so appreciate you guys. Some parting words. What would be your feedback on No Bad Days going forward? What would be some words you have for the listeners?
Well, listen, everyone has good and bad things happen to them almost every day. Yeah. And the trick is to think about the positive and minimize the negative. So you're going to have bad stuff. Listen, I got diagnosed with leukemia, and my brother came into the hospital and he said, I bet today is a bad day. That, like, he almost wanted to like prove me wrong. Right. And I was like, no, actually, I didn't get diagnosed till 10 o'clock at night. Like the first 22 hours are really good. Right. So I was just like, hey, I had a good day. And then by the next day, I'd had time to sort of process it and start thinking about, how great my life was. And I really just didn't let it ruin my day. Now, I'm not going to lie. If that had happened 3 days after I decided to give up bad days, I might have had a bad day, right? Sure. It takes practice and consistency. It's like anything. It's like when you get out to exercise. Like if I tried to run 30 miles on the 30th of April, I would have died. Literally died. You did 29 one day and 30 the next, which, by the way, I feel like that 30th mile, you might have been thinking like I was climbing the mountain, right? Like I told these people I would do it. I have to do it. I need to get this done.
I'll tell you one quick story. You know what happened on 2 different occasions? I think one was like mile 20, the 22nd day and the 29th day. My phone, my tracker quit, and I didn't realize it. So I literally had to like open up the tracker again, and I probably had run like 2 or 3 or 4 miles over. And I was like, like it's so easy. Wow. Just get it done. I was like, all right, well, it's one of those things where it was not ideal. So, but you say you get it done, you get it done, right? That's what we can do out there. So, well, Jillian, bring us home.
I haven't mastered the No Bad Days yet. And full disclosure, I'm still working on it, almost daily.
I think we all are, though, right? It's that fact. It's a constant work, and it's just like anything else. We're always working on it, right? But it's just the effort to be working on it that's really the biggest part there. So, but please, guys, thanks so much for coming on. I mean, this is great. So, can't wait to read the book. Yep. They said that your passage was 6th favorite.
That is not what happened.
No, I definitely said 5th favorite. I can't believe you.
Yeah, the baby was 5th. The baby was crying. I was trying to put it in there. It was either 5th or 16th. So one of the 2.
I'm just honored to be in the book. Thank you so much, both of you. You are a light in my life. You are a light in so many other people's lives. Yeah. Thank you for coming on. I'm so grateful.
So I look forward to meeting you guys in person at a time when you remember meeting me. So
That's on me. Yes, and I'll call that kid brain running 400 miles.
In fairness, you're out there. You guys are out there presenting, and I'm just attending. And you meet me for 2 seconds. I meet people all the time when I'm presenting, and I don't remember them 3 minutes afterwards. So it's really unfair for me to expect you to remember me 6 months later. It just shows how memorable you guys are, though.
Well, I love that I know you here, and now we've met. So now I can put the two to do together and start this over again. Good.
Exactly.
All right.
Guys, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate
both of
it.
you so much. Have a great day. We'll see you guys later.
Thanks.
That was awesome. So
Amazing.
that was great. We had them both on the show. Just love the message. Make sure we go out there, get the book, check it, of course, on Amazon today. So it may be out there, hopefully, right? So, but if not, check back in a few other days coming out there. They are great people. Go over there and check out their Facebook group, check out their forum. Just listen to what the messages they put out there, both on really just the life side and the real estate side. They just have a ton of great energy, a ton of great feedback, and that's just what it's about right now. We can choose, right? We can choose to control what we think, what we say, what we do, and how we feel. And every day, we're lucky enough that we're in a position we can control that. There's no one here puppeteering us, forcing us to do something here. So we love having you guys on the show, coming to listen, coming to talk with basically what we're doing from a day-to-day. You see that nothing's going to be perfect, and we just roll with it. Got kids screaming, got kids walking in, but that's what we're all dealing with here and we can choose to just love it and roll with it, or find a way to not have it ideal. But let's make it a great day. Let's push forward to have no bad days, just like Jeff said. And just like Jillian said, she's working on it daily, and she's building and building and building, and we're going to do the same right there with them.
No bad days. And if you love what you just heard, please rate, review, and please subscribe if you're listening and watching us on YouTube. That would mean the world to us. And if you want more information on Jillian, and we have to have Jeff on, but I have Jillian on, Mothers of Multifamily. It's also on our channel. Check her out. Look her up. That was one of the best interviews I've ever had. So thank you so much again to Jillian and Jeff for joining us. And thank you for being here.
All right, guys. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.